Hello there, Parth Sharma this side, bringing you best chess games going all around the world. Do take time to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. If you're already subscribed, then do press the bell icon for future notifications. And if you like my work, then do consider supporting me on Patreon and PayPal. You will find the links in the description because your support is my motivation which keeps me going. You can also find timestamps of different games that I'd be analyzing in this video in the description box. So if you want to see a specific game, a particular game, then you can click on the timestamp and you will jump directly to that game. So it looks at the board that this is an endgame study, but actually this is a position between this is a position in the game between Timur Radjabov, who's playing with white, and Fabiano Caruana, who's playing black. And you can see he's having a bishop. Fabi has played bishop f6 to block this check, and now it's Timur Radjabov's turn at move number 109. And as you can see, this white king cannot move because it is restricted by rook and the bishop, and so there is only one piece that can make a move, and it's not easy. And there are only two choices in this position and that white can make here. He can play, if he plays, let's say, rook h6, well, rook c7 and mate, or rook b7 also with the same ideas. If he plays rook g4 in this position, then this also loses to rook b7 or rook here for that matter, because if you play, let's say, this, then I will let you know what would happen. But rook b7 is a winning move in this position. So there are two ways to draw this position, either to play rook g1 or rook g2, and these two are drawing moves. Well, I will explain you in a bit why do I say so. So after bishop f6, which was played in the game, Radjabov played rook to g3, and this was a clear blunder. I mean, not clear, but this was a blunder. And there is only one winning move in this position. I will give you some time, take a pause and think. Well, if you found it out, brilliant. And if you just want to enjoy the show, it's rook to a7, the only winning move in this position. And why do I say so? Let's jump here. What if he plays rook to b7? Why this is not a winning move? Well, then comes rook a3, controlling the back rank, and everything is secure. If you play this, then king h7, and everything is fine. And why everything is fine is because this rook can make use of a6 to give these horizontal checks to this black king. Okay, so after, let's say, you play rook g3, rook a7. What if he plays rook b3? Okay, using these squares to give horizontal checks. But then this is the only winning move in this position, bishop d4. I'm just showing the variation. But he didn't play rook b3, he played something else, again stopping these horizontal checks. And look at this position. After rook a7, this bishop is controlling a very crucial square on c3, and these all squares would have been covered because you have to use these back rank threats with this black rook, and this rook has to have some access here to check horizontally to this black king and secure a draw, because if this is diverted so far from this bishop, then there won't be any mate, and again it will liquidate to a draw. But when rook g1 or rook g2 were played, the white rook could make use of these squares so that he can go here, and since it's a dark square bishop, it will never control this c6 square, and that position would have been drawn if rook to g1 or rook to g2 or rook to g1 would have been played. So this is very important thing. With rook a7, if he plays rook b3, then bishop d4 stopping this, and he cannot access the c3 square because it is already controlled by the bishop. And now with e3 square also taken by this rook on a7, this square is also taken, so he plays rook e3 check, but you block, and now everything is lost. Rook to f3 tries, but rook g7 check, king f8, rook g4, putting white into a sutswang, plays rook e3. Now rook a4 threatening mate in 1 because this square is taken by the bishop, and if king g8, now mate is almost unstoppable. You have to, the only way to save the mate is to give this, and king and rook will eventually eat this king. So what a fabulous endgame technique shown by Fabiano. No wonder he's called Fabulous Fabi, but he had somewhat mixed day. He won some, but he also lost some. Let's jump into this game. We are at move 9 of when MVL, he's playing against MVL, and I have jumped a couple of moves. It was in English with this queen c2 move instead of knight c3, so that to recapture the queen, which is what happened. A g3, so now attempting to Fianchettoing this bishop. MVL is white, Fabi is black. So e6, bishop g7, bishop g2, bishop e7, castles, both side castles, and queen b3. This was the position that we saw. Now queen b6. So this is somewhat a London system kind of move where black offers the trade of queens, but MVL is having nothing of it. He plays knight b8 d2, and now rook d8, attacking this pawn, but it is attacked by the rook and the queen. So at the moment somewhat safe. Knight to c4, attacking the queen. Queen goes to a6, bishop to g5. Knight can move here, but knight b to d7, so he's making sure that if this happens, then the knight recaptures the knight on f6. Rook f to e1, and now kicking this bishop off, so he has to either go this side or to take the knight. So he goes to f4, and now knight b6, so offering the trade of knights. Knight c to e5, MVL declines it, and queen e4. So Caruana is trying to trade queens, and not only that, also trying to attack this pawn, and if this pawn moves, then knight c3 might be an idea. So he plays bishop to d2, and it's very important to eliminate this bishop as well, because this bishop is somewhat in a passive position, somewhat inactive, and whereas this bishop looks very active compared to this bishop, and also for that matter this bishop also controlling a lot of squares. So 1-to-1 counter, and this knight, if comes to e4, might have been a better option, but he decides to play bishop e4 to move an active piece. Still okay for Fabi, but somewhat knight e4 might have been a better option. So MVL takes, knight takes, and now b3. So what happens after bishop d2? This knight c3 move, which I was quoting before, is impossible now, and he might also be trying to play bishop takes, but then knight would capture and still be able to defend this pawn. So knight goes back to b6, and now bishop a5. Rook to d5, attacking the bishop. Bishop tucks back to c3, putting more defenders to this pawn. That's a good move. c5, and basically wants to play bishop takes c5 and to have some control over this diagonal, c5 g1 diagonal. Maybe that could have been a better option. I mean, this is better. This would be better for white or black. Replays e3, again keeping a strong hold on this center pawn. So if takes. So he plays rook d to d8. He retreats his rook. But now rook e to d1, putting more defenders to this position. Knight b to d5. Bishop comes to a5, attacking the rook. Rook d to c8. So now his plan is to play basically c4, and after exchange rook takes might be a better option. I mean, might be a good option, certainly a good option. Might also play, let's say, bishop d6 to eliminate this knight. These things are still in the air. Anyway, rook a c1, b6 protecting the pawn. Bishop going to e1. The bishop was also attacked, and the only decent square, bishop d2, that then it blocks the rook's path, so bishop e1 was the only. a5, a4, stopping any queenside pawn advance, nasty queenside pawn advance, because if a4 would have happened, then you had to take, and then maybe c4 would have been annoying. Although c4 isn't possible at the moment, the knight and the rook are taking care of it. If not for this pawn, rook c7, so preparing to double on the c file, knight c4, so basically making sure that this pawn doesn't push through successfully. Rook a to c8, d takes c5, bishop takes c5, and now knight d4. So MVL is trying to clear the air in the center. Basically, now after this doubling of rooks, he wants to play this knight here, and if he gets a good time, also wants to exchange these bishops. So bishop takes, king takes, and yeah, he was Fabiano was thinking that knight b5 would be very nasty in this position, but instead he can play, let's say, bishop a3 in this position. The knight cannot take because that would be battery on this rook, but still would have been a great option. But instead he takes this knight on d4, which was somewhat dubious, and you won't be able to see why this is helpful for black and how does it clear the air for black. It's very difficult to answer, because after rook takes d4, now still this pawn chain is intact and there's no isoline on d4, so it's very important now to, chances are to play even this move and to kick this knight away from this d5 stronghold. But anyway, we are too far from that. Knight d7, now e4, kicking the knight, knight 5 to d6, or knight 5 to f6, and now doubling the rooks on the d file, so putting more pressure now. Possibilities are to e5 to kick this knight even further and taking this one off. So rook goes to b8, and obviously if you play this, then again knight goes back here, so plays f3, and Fabiano plays king h7. Maybe he should have closed this one, knight c5 to attack this pawn on b3. Might have been a better option, because it would have forced white again to defensive position. MVL plays g4, e5, so he's trying to make room for this knight to come either on f4, via so many routes there would be. Maybe still again he could have played knight c5 here, but playing this also weakens this d5 square for white, So for instance, you can maneuver this knight from e3 to here, and also bishop g3 is also in the air. That would be very nasty. But he plays rook d6, which was somewhat, I would say, losing the way. Bishop g3, as I already mentioned, would have been a tremendous position for white, but nevertheless, you want to secure the rook, active rook, and you want to protect your rook from the attacks. So knight c5, knight takes e5, knight takes b3, and now h4. So MVL is starting to push his kingside pawns, but on the other hand, Fabiano Caruana has queenside majority, but this majority is somewhat, I would say, neutralized by this pawn, because if it moves, then it would be simply captured, and which is what happened here. b5, but first he played g5 to kick this knight away, and knight has to go to h5. Maybe knight e8 would have been more passive, but knight h5, there aren't too many options. MVL played knight d7 here, attacking the rook on b8, and maybe doubling this rook horizontally would have been a better option, but he doubled the rooks vertically, and now things are looking very dangerous, because after a takes b5, suddenly this passer is very, I would say, like a thorn in a flesh. And how can you stop this passer now? a4, b6, rook b7, and now you want to play knight c5, but then bishop b4 is very good move to enable knight c5. But although knight is defending, but still bishop b4 also protects the rook. Knight f4 check, king g3, knight to e6, king to g4, and now he plays rook c2. Maybe rook c4 would have been a better option, attacking this bishop, this active bishop, who wants to initiate this move. But in fact, he's already lost here. g6 check, king takes g6, knight to f8 check. The knight is pinned, so it cannot capture. King goes to f6, e5 check, and now this is forced checkmate. King takes e5, rook d5, rook 6 d5 check, and after king f6, the only move, rook f5 is checkmate, and MVL wins against Fabio. So this was somewhat mixed results for Fabiano. He lost another game, another short game against Anish Giri, which wasn't too impressive. He committed blunders, and he committed too many blunders, and eventually it ended in 24-25 moves. But after a long game, if you play another 50 move game, that's somewhat really tiring, and it was showing in Fabi's play. After a game going as long as 114 moves, that isn't too pleasing. But yeah, he showed some good chess, but he had some mixed results. He won against Nepo also, by the way. Nepo Miyashi drew against Ding, I think. I just can't recollect. Anyway, forget about that. So that was day 2. My favorite games from day 2, and the standings in Group B are Anish and MVL are leading with 3 points each. Ding, Nepo, and Fabi are on joint third with 2.5 points each, whereas Radjabov, who somewhat didn't have a good time, was at 1.5 points. So I hope you liked my video. I hope you liked my analysis. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Cheers. Bye.